We live in a world where hustle culture is worshipped as a religion. Waking up at 5 a.m., working 18-hour days, and wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor, this is the modern formula for success. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what are we actually running from? We are all involved in a race that has no finish line. Psychology tells us that ambition, the desire to achieve something great, is a double-edged sword. It can lift you from the dirt to the stars. But if you don't understand the psychological toll it takes, it will hollow you out from the inside. Today, we are diving deep into the burnout paradox that haunts every high achiever. We will explore 10 psychological pillars that explain why success often makes us more restless rather than more peaceful. The Hedonic Treadmill. The first psychological pillar is the Hedonic Treadmill. This concept explains why human desires are essentially bottomless. When you're riding an old bike, your dream is a small car. The moment you get that car, your brain immediately starts sprinting toward a luxury SUV. Biologically, your dopamine levels spike with every new achievement, but they quickly return to their baseline. No matter how hard you work, your brain becomes habituated to your new level of success. On this treadmill, the faster you run, the longer the road becomes. We don't achieve happiness, we simply chase its shadow. This is ambition's greatest deception, Arrival Fallacy. The second point of ambition is the Arrival Fallacy. This is the mental state where we believe, once I reach that specific milestone, all my problems will disappear. We outsource our happiness to a future event that hasn't happened yet. However, research shows that when people finally land their dream job or dream life, they often feel a strange sense of emptiness. Why? Because they spent their entire lives living for the goal. Once the goal is reached, they lose their reason for being. This paradox hits hardest for those who hate the process and only love the outcome. Status anxiety. Psychologist Alain de Botton coined the term status anxiety. Ambitious people often seek success not for the work itself, but for the status it provides in the eyes of others. This means your peace of mind is no longer in your hands. It is held hostage by the judgment of society. When we see an old friend earning more money or looking better on social media, our amygdala, the brain's fear center, starts firing. We feel like we are being left behind. This anxiety forces us to work harder. But this labor isn't driven by passion. It's driven by the terror of being labeled a loser. The hero's shadow. One of the biggest struggles for ambitious people is tethering their self-worth to their productivity. This is known as identity merging. If I work 10 hours today, I am good. If I did nothing today, I am bad. This is a dangerous psychological state. It means your internal stability depends entirely on your output. If the market dips or if you fall ill, your self-esteem is instantly crushed. You forget that you are a human being, not a human doing. Until you decouple your existence from your labor, you will remain a victim of constant stress. Toxic productivity. Let's talk about toxic productivity. This is the condition where you feel a crushing sense of guilt for simply resting. If you sit down for 15 minutes or watch a movie, your brain begins to taunt you you are wasting time. People are getting ahead of you. This psychology is why people fall into burnout. Burnout isn't just physical tiredness, it is emotional exhaustion. At this stage, your brain stops functioning correctly, your relationships deteriorate, and your body begins to fail. Yet, the ambitious person keeps going, believing that stopping is a sign of weakness or giving up. The scarcity mindset. Point 6 is the scarcity mindset. High achievers often feel that opportunities in the world are limited, and if they don't grab everything right now, someone else will take it. This is a mentality of lack. When you live in a scarcity mindset, you are in a state of permanent stress. You don't celebrate the success of others, you fear it. Psychology suggests that an abundance mindset leads to more sustainable success because it allows for long-term planning and peace. Scarcity keeps the brain in survival mode, which is an incredibly draining way to live. Dopamine fasting and reward systems. Our brains are hungry for rewards. Point 7 explores how modern ambition hijacks the brain's reward system. Every email, Every notification and every dollar earned releases a hit of dopamine. The problem starts when small rewards stop being enough. We constantly need something bigger. In psychology, this is called tolerance buildup. An ambitious person feels they must double their profit every year just to get the same kick they felt in the first year. This cycle ensures that you are never truly satisfied. The cost of isolation. High ambition often brings social erosion. When you are so obsessed with your goals that you miss family gatherings, friends' weddings, and your children's childhood, you are accumulating relational debt. In the final stages of life, people rarely cry over their bank balance. They cry over the relationships they sacrificed in the race for money. Humans are social animals. If you reach the top, but find there is no one standing there with you, that top isn't a mountain, it's a deep, lonely pit. Decision fatigue. Ambitious people have to make hundreds of choices every day. Point 9 is decision fatigue. The brain is like a battery. Every choice drains its power. When you spend all day making high-stakes decisions, your brain begins to shut down by the evening. This is why successful people often make terrible personal decisions or suffer from sudden outbursts of rage. They never leave the brain in an idle state. Psychology teaches that boredom is as necessary for the brain as sleep. Creativity is born in boredom. If you are always busy, you are merely executing. You aren't truly thinking. The reframe. Sustainable ambition. The final point. Is ambition a bad thing? No. Ambition changes the world, but we need sustainable ambition. This is the psychology where you have goals, but you refuse to sacrifice your health or your humanity to reach them. In sustainable ambition, you focus on growth rather than perfection. You learn when to run, and more importantly, when to stop. You hold success in your hand, but you don't let it sit on your head. Real success isn't what you show the world. It is the peace you feel when you are sitting alone in silence. The master or the slave? Ambition is like fire. If used correctly, it warms the house. If it goes out of control, it burns the house down. Ask yourself, am I the master of my goals, or am I their slave? Remember, the graveyards are full of people who thought the world couldn't move forward without them. The world moved on then, and it will move on now. Don't label your entire life as work. Stop for a moment, take a breath, and look around. In this deafening roar of success, are you losing the most important thing of all? Yourself? In the end, the greatest tragedy is not failing to become successful, it is becoming successful and realizing you sacrificed your peace, your relationships, and your identity just to reach a destination that never truly satisfied you. Ambition is powerful, but without awareness, it can quietly transform your life into an endless cycle of chasing, comparing, and surviving. So build your dreams, work hard, and strive for greatness, but never forget to protect your mind in the process. Because true success is not measured by how much you achieve, but by whether you can still recognize yourself when the noise finally fades and you are left alone with your own thoughts.